How's it going, everyone? My name is True Underdog, and I've gotten a few comments in recent videos asking me my thoughts on the recent Sonicfox tier list. So today I thought I'd give you exactly that. So let's go ahead and start off with the top row. So right in the number one spot we have Johnny Cage, and I find that very interesting. Variation 3 has done a lot of good for Johnny Cage. I think he's always been a fairly competent character in the right hands, but Variation 3 makes it a lot more streamlined. One of the big things he can do that not a lot of players talk about is he can cancel down 1 into Rising Star, and it's not a combo, but what that does is if the opponent blocks it and then tries to take their turn back by doing a down 1 or their fastest mid in return, they get caught by the Rising Star. So that's already very strong on its own, but then on top of that, if the opponent keeps blocking against the Rising Star, the Johnny Cage player can just spend 1 bar to amplify it and keep themselves safe and also reset the neutral, which is where Johnny Cage shines. So Johnny Cage can essentially escape any close battle situation and just ignore minus frames. If you block his down 1, that's okay, Rising Star. If you want to challenge it, you'll get hit. If you block, he's still at neutral. It's very, very strong, and his combos actually get better in the corner as well, so he gets more damage in some regards, and his mid-screen combos are essentially the same. And then on top of all of that, he has fantastic zoning. I would argue some characters have better zoning, but it requires a lot more thinking. Johnny Cage requires very little effort to achieve really above average zoning. And then right behind him we have Cetrion, fantastic zoner, not much to say. She stayed pretty much consistent the entire time, and her Variation 3 is nothing to write home about. Liu Kang is like Johnny Cage, but up close he is very simple. It's forward 4-3, and then either the projectile or the parry or just finish it for plus frames. Very simple stuff. He has crushing blows on his throws. He's pretty good from far away, 3 projectiles for 1 bar, got a low projectile, air projectile. He can do pretty much everything, but up close requires the least thinking. He's very strong. Garrus has his just I'm going to kill you combos. He's got a lot of crushing blows, so don't you dare press any buttons. And his sand trap counters most keep away with the exception of some characters like Jade who can hop in the air. But most characters just can't play keep away against Garrus. And then his Variation 3 has a second way to break combos even while standing, which also undoes the damage, and then he also has some very fun clone setups. I want to scour the globe after this for some online videos of Garrus and Variation 3, whether it be tournament or just high level online. I want to see Variation 3 doing work because I think it has a lot of potential. And then Cabal. I agree, where are all the Cabal mains at? I feel like Cabal's always been a very solid character, and we don't see him very much, but I think with Variation 3 having better combos and some really good restand options, I think we'll see more Cabal very soon. He touches you, does a lot of damage, he can walk backwards and do his best poke in the game. That's very strong if you ask me. To walk backward, press a button, and then do your best reaching attack, which hit confirms for a full combo, to me that's always going to be good. Raiden. I really want to see a high level Raiden. I hope Sonicfox does it in the future. That would just blow my mind. I actually did make a video on this character recently. I think he has a ton of potential. He can punish anything -7 or more. Very, very good. He gets reduced block damage. He has fun combos, above average damage. I think he's a very solid character. He requires a good player for sure. You can't just pick him up and be good with them. It requires some commitment and a very good understanding of the game, especially in the footsie area. But I think he's very strong with a lot of potential. I think Raiden in Variation 2 can get work done. Cassie Cage, very simple character. She plays this game very well. Really good footsies, slightly above average damage in some regards, really good restand options, and also really good counter zoning. And she can play keep away herself if she wants to. Very simple crushing blows that have no risk and decent reward. She's a very solid character, very simple character. The Terminator. Okay, so the Terminator is interesting because he pretty much removes fuzzy guarding as a tactic. Once he hits you, he does the shotgun, spins the bar, and then you have to guess, overhead or low. Both of them lead to decent damage, and in Variation 3 even more so. And in Variation 1 and 2, if he even touches you, it can be an easy 50%, which is already really scary without the mix-ups, but he still has the 50-50s. And he's also pretty good at counter zoning too. His shotgun is pretty fast. Doesn't come out right away, but it travels instantly across the screen. So still a pretty decent counter zoning character too. He's not made for that, to be sure, but he can stop your zoning from far away if you're on point with it. He's okay at that, but up close is where he shines. 50-50s, crazy high damage. He's a meta character, but if you're one of those players who's very good at getting inside the opponent's head and understanding how they want to block, he'll just delete your health bar very quickly. And then Collector. So Sonicfox did play a lot of Collector recently at the tournament, NEC I believe, and they did a very, very good job. Collector I feel like deserves a time to shine, but I don't think Collector's really gotten any better recently. There's been some minor tweaks here and there, but essentially he's the same character outside of Variation 3, and that one doesn't have the mobility, doesn't have the teleport, doesn't have the cancels, doesn't have the command grab, so I don't think most people want to use that variation. So Sonicfox just made this character look really good, and I think they personally feel the collector is here. But I don't agree, and I don't think many players agree either, but even so, I'd love to see more awesome collector. And then we have Kung Lao, once again a character who is very meta-based. He knocks you down, goes for the Z-hat, dashes in. It's either going to be a kick or a throw, and the kick option is 100% safe. So he's a very frightening character once he gets in your head, but I feel like he's got a ton of minus frames, like a lot. His crushing blows aren't that great, he has one that's okay. His combos are meterless, which is nice, but he spends the bar on setups, so he doesn't really hold on to the bar for very long. I think he's a very good pressure character, very good mix-up character, but everything else is lacking. So once again, I'm not sure if I would put him on the top row, but he's a very meta character, so it has some potential. And the same can also be said for D'Vorah. I think this top row is characters who Sonicfox knows that he can bully people with all the setups, all the unblockables. D'Vorah doesn't have any true unblockables, but they might as well be because the human brain's not going to react to all that stuff. In Variation 1, she already has some decent pressure, lays down the bug, and then goes for some setups, but in Variation 3, she has overhead low mix-ups that might as well be unblockable, and you already have to deal with them on Wake Up. Even without spending bar, that bug is like a huge nuisance on Wake Up. I love Variation 3, even though one of its moves are arguably useless, where she flies across the screen. I can see it being good for some like meta games, like it scares the opponent as you come in, but it's not that terrifying. But once again, it works very well with her bug, which creates low overhead mix-ups. Her overhead also crushing blows, which is a big deal because the low can actually start off combos in some situations. So she is definitely a lot scarier in Variation 3. I'm not sure if she's top row in my opinion, but I do think D'Vorah's gotten a lot better, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some more D'Vorahs at high-level tournaments. And then in the next row we have Jax. We all know why Jax is good. No surprise here. Jackie's pretty good too. I think her pressure is a bit overhyped, but maybe Variation 3 is the really scary one, because Variation 3 can convert off of everything, which is amazing. Variation 1 got nerfed quite a lot, the damage was reduced, and the pressure was already not real. Her knee is plus on block, right? Her back 3-4, but you can interrupt it on block. So she really didn't have any plus frames. But in Variation 3, she can just jump in the air and then shoot straight down and she's still plus there. So it's very scary. In Variation 3, she does have more pressure. I really wish NetherRealm would remove the nerf on her throw counter. That to me was just overkill, and now you never see it because that nerf essentially made that move useless. Frost. I think Frost is a very solid character, and I forget how good her zoning is. The down back 2 is a secret weapon. A lot of people rely on back forward 3. That's not a very good projectile. It's not bad, but it's not the best. However, down back 2 is simply godlike. Even certain characters like Garrus, who can normally counter projectiles, he'll get hit by it. He'll land sand trap on you, start to go down, the explosion will still hit him. Characters like Jade, who become immune to most projectiles, they are not immune to Frost down back 2. So she is really good at countering keep away, and also playing keep away herself, and up close she has frame traps. She's a very fun character. It took a long time, but I'm proud to say that if I had to play Frost, I'd be very confident. Frost is a good character now. And then of course Baraka. I think Baraka is also very strong, very high damaging combos, very good in the neutral, great crushing blows, very high reward, not very much risk, very strong character, very solid character. I don't think Variation 3 is going to be a huge game changer for him, but he's always been strong for the same reasons. Now this one, Kotal Khan. This one throws me off a little bit. I feel like Kotal Khan is better than a lot of people think, but Sonicfox putting him in this row is very impressive to me. Kotal Khan certainly does have gimmicks, and Variation 3 allows him to do some very fun stuff. I still wish he summoned the totems faster, but if I had my way, it would just be absurd. He would be able to summon them like in your face, and if you didn't react in time, he'd still be able to block. That's the kind of Kotal Khan that I want. Just crazy gimmicks. He does a block string. You think he's gonna special cancel into an attack, so you keep blocking, but nope, here comes a totem, and before you know it, he's already blocking again. I would like that, and that might be a bit much, but that's what I would like to see from Kotal Khan. But even so, Sonicfox seems to think this character is very strong. Not sure if I agree, but it's interesting. I want to see more Kotal Khan mains, that's for sure. Kano. Kano's an interesting character, and for a lot of top players, he's like bottom tier. Not just YouTubers. I mean like professional players who are also YouTubers think that he's pretty bad. Whereas I've always thought that Kano is well-rounded. He has lows to start off combos, he has a low overhead mix-up, he has a command grab, all that fun stuff. He's mix-up city, very meta, and he can do some really good damage in some situations. His Kano ball can just deny keep away and whiff punish everything. Very interesting character. I've always thought he was okay. The problem is, you gotta play smart but also play wild, which is tough to do. Shang Tsung. Shang Tsung got nerfed in the damage department, but always been a very good keep away character. The king of zoning against most characters, with the exception of some, but a very, very strong character. great keep away, still decent combo damage, and still meterless combos in the corner. And then his Variation 3 has some really gimmicky stuff. Some really absurd mix-ups. The cancel stuff is really tough to deal with. I think Variation 3 has potential. It's still not my favorite, but it seems like it can go places. I could see it being very sneaky. This row, not too much to say. Nightwolf I think is stronger in my opinion, but he's a very linear character. I wish Variation 2 had more to it than just the command grab, but that's the only reason you'd want to play it. He has other stuff to be sure, but the only reason people actually like it is for that command grab, and that's about it. I wish I had more reasons to play it, but you just don't. Noob Saibot, crazy high damage, decent footsies, he can keep himself safe now in Variation 2, he has some funny gimmicks, but the sad thing is, those combos don't mean anything unless the opponent does something risky and punishable. Otherwise, he can't get it. His best footsie tools don't lead to a ton of damage, his crushing blows are pretty much non-existent and never going to happen, so once again, unless the opponent does something very unsafe, he's not going to use those crazy damaging combos, and that's why a lot of players have dropped him. Jade, super solid character. Dangerous up close, dangerous from far away, the cheesiest keep away in the game in my opinion, just very brain dead, easy keep away. I'm gonna jump up and throw projectiles downward. That's what I'm gonna do. I'll mix it up with a low projectile every now and then, and if I hit you with either of them, I'm gonna fly forward with my shadow kick, which is unreactable by the way, and if you block it, I'm gonna amplify it and hope that I catch you off guard. And then if you wanna use projectiles against me, I'm gonna go purple and just say no, with the exception of some characters. Sonya Blade being this low blows my mind, but I like it. She was queen for a very long time, I think she belongs down here. Not too much to say, damage got nerfed, Variation 3 nothing special, that's about it. Scarlet. I honestly feel like Scarlet is a very solid character. I think she's much better than most characters on the roster, so I'm wondering why she's down here, maybe because she excels at nothing. That's the sad reality. She's good at everything, but not the best at anything. So if you want to be really good at something, you don't play Scarlet, because she's just very solid, very well-rounded. Dominates at mid-range, is a lot faster than you think she is, meterless combos that do a good amount of damage above average, and then she has some really good zoning, but sadly, not the best at anything. That's the issue I feel like. And very similar to Noob Saibot, she doesn't have any mix-ups to open you up with, so she's hoping you do something unsafe, that way she can punish you, but otherwise, not getting very much damage, at least not very quickly. Sindel, I want to see Sindel be a bit higher honestly. Sindel is a powerhouse, but at the same time can lose very hard to keep away. She has some answers, but they're not the best, and once she spins that crushing blow where she screams at you, her counter zoning gets even weaker. And I feel like right now, Variation 1 is the only variation people are going to use, and that's what sucks. Variation 2 has so much potential, but they messed up really bad with her jumping too. I made an entire video on it if you want to check it out, but basically Variation 1 is the only variation that's going to be used for Sindel. And then Kitana, I agree with this, I don't think she's a bad character, and by the way, neither does Sonicfox, as they put down here. No character in this game is unviable, they're all useful, they can all get the win, they really can. Kitana is a very fun character to play, she has very nice hit confirms, she has some very annoying weaknesses that should have been fixed a long time ago, because if you ask me, they're bugs, but they haven't been fixed yet. Certain things like how if you're in the air when she hits you, even if you're barely off the floor, the follow-ups just miss completely on her string, which means you get up and you can just punish her. And you have to commit to the whole string because she has dial-ins, which to me are just awful in this game. I don't get why they put them in. There are some circumstances where I understand, but for Kitana I don't, because all that happens is the opponent wakes up and you're finishing your string because you have to commit to the whole thing, and they just punish you for a full combo even though you hit them. That's so frustrating that that happens, it's ridiculous. And on top of that, very below average damage. Even with her crushing blow, barely getting over 30%, it's quite ridiculous. Variation 2 is fun, but not a huge game changer. Variation 3 is fun, but only really works online. Shao Kahn, really fun damage. I love how he gets in, does tons of fun combos. I think in the hands of a good player, he's up here. When Video Games Yo plays this character, he makes him look really, really strong. Scorpion, once again, very good online character. At tournaments, not so much. Variation 2 was the huge meta, and then with the teleport nerf, you can't use that build anymore. I think Variation 3 has potential, but no one's using it. Once again, Scorpion's a very solid character, he plays the game very well, but nothing crazy to really body the opponent, just a very, balanced character with pretty much every move you could want, but doesn't really excel at anything aside from that teleport, which offline is not going to work. And keep in mind, this is an offline tournament tier list. That's very important to keep in mind. Sonicfox is doing this for tournaments and not for online play. And then finally, in the bottom row, we have Aaron Black and Sub-Zero. I can understand why Sonicfox feels this way. Aaron Black just got neutered. It's kind of a shame. Aaron Black, once again, still a decent character, but they took away all the fun stuff. Even the combos got taken away. I was shocked by that. he lost some of his most fun combos that were meterless too. And it used to make sense because a lot of his stuff was punishable on block, so it had to be a good read or a whiff punish, and he had the cancel on his gun that made it a bit too unfair. I'm glad they nerfed that. If you ask me, it should have been nerfed even more, and then just keep the combos and damage the way they are. Keep everything else the same, but just don't give him a get out of jail free card. That's just not fun or fair in my opinion. And then Sub-Zero. Sub-Zero online is a monster because the overhead is unreactable. Like Sonicfox said, they will not even play with people who use Sub-Zero online. They will move right by you. Because online, that forward 2, don't even pretend to react to it online. Now, it is fully punishable, sure enough, but it's just kind of ridiculous to deal with. Now, offline, he can be a joke. The overhead is still scary in the neutral because once again, tough to react to, but with the whole fuzzy guard situation, if he gets a hit on you and then tries to go for the mix-up, you can just fuzzy guard it. So in other words, you block low right away and then stand up immediately after that, and it covers both situations, the low and the overhead. In the neutral, you can't do that, but if you get hit and they go for a setup, you can block them both. Though I am wondering why everyone seems to ignore the delayed low. That would blow up a fuzzy guard. Instead of doing the overhead, you just wait a bit longer and then go for the low. That could work completely. Maybe there's some extra tech where you jab out of it or something covers all 3 situations, but to me, the idea of a delayed low is slept on a lot, and I feel like it would do a lot of good for Sub-Zero, but Sub-Zero also, just like Cetrion and Katana, whenever Sub-Zero combos me, I don't care. It's not going to hurt that bad, I never drop out, so I keep all my defensive options, and I can just roll away from his 50-50s on wake up. So I understand why Sonicfox put him down here. Though at the same time, I don't exactly agree when they said that how many Sub-Zeros do you see at top 16, because I feel the exact same about a lot of characters in this top row. I don't see many Devoras at top 16, I don't see many Collectors at top 16, I don't see many Terminators at top 16, so most of these characters aren't in top 16, so that's not a very valid argument, but I do agree this character, offline, not very strong. Alright everyone, that's about it for my thoughts on Sonicfox's tier list. I hope you enjoyed. Please request any other ideas you have for future videos in the comment section down below. And then while you're down there, why not leave a like if you enjoyed the video? It really does help my channel out a ton. And finally, why not keep that combo going by subscribing and ringing that bell? That way you never miss a future video. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.